Before we go any further, without further ado, as they say sometimes, let's have a listen to this.
If I had magical powers, I would travel across the 7 seas, flying through white-topped waves. I'd cure the weak and save the lives of the innocent, help those in need of food and water. I change the thoughts of evil and stop global warming with the fingertip. I do all this and more, and make an end to poverty, destroy pain and suffering, and make a place of peace and no wars. Comfort the child who cries, would open pathways that didn't exist. I'll teach people to let go and forgive. Speak out and make people's voices heard. If I had magical powers, I'd walk on water and be invisible, make the hearts warm and glow. I would control the weather and make it snow, make people feel that worries could just disappear, and make an end to poverty, destroy pain and suffering, and make a place of peace and no wars. Comfort the child who cries, would open pathways that didn't exist, and teach people to let go and forgive. Speak out to make people's voices heard. People's lives were getting better. Make me strong.
Yeah, November has been a very busy month for the award-winning singer and songwriter Koren. She released her poignant new single Magical Powers last week. You're listening to that now, and it performed at the Balfour Centenary concert at the Royal Albert Hall this week as well. And on Monday, the 20th of November, which is a week's time, she'll speak at the Universal Children's Day Interfaith event, which is on at the House of Lords, where she'll be championing the coexistence in the Middle East. She joins me now. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Good morning.
Tally, thank you very much for bringing us your time. So let's talk about this Magical Powers single, because there's a story behind how this came about. And it goes back to when you were what? Just magical in your youth, in your Alice in Wonderland stage, yeah?
Yeah, it just, I got these words from a father that sent me an email. The words were very long. They were not like you hear them, but I could hear the potential, this purity of visioning the world as an ideal place. And that just made me first go straight to the piano and compose it, but also understand what a potential these children have. And that's why I created the National School Poetry Competition, but with the theme of peace, to let those children express their emotions of what is going on in the world and how do they want the world to be.
So National School Poetry Competition, it was the kind of thing that I'd have taken part in immediately when I was younger. I remember there used to be, didn't there, National School Poetry Competition. When I was, going back 40 years now or so,
Right.
There used to be National School Poetry Competitions. Did it disappear? Why
No,
did you
it
have to
still
stop?
exists.
So-
And I'm not competing. I'm the
okay.
opposite. I'm encouraging youth to write. My competition, what makes different my competition is that it's with the theme of peace, and that the winner, their poem will turn into song, which I'll compose, which that's something that I am very passionate about, taking words that inspire me and put it into song and music.
Why does the theme of peace resonate with you so strongly? Why did you want it to be about peace?
First of all, I'm coming, you can hear from my funny accent, I'm coming from Israel,
Yeah.
a country that we live in a conflict all our life. And also my grandparents, I'm coming with such an extreme, my grandparents from one side came from Poland, the other side from Syria. So I had this duality of East and West from day one of my life, which I had to balance, and I think that's why I have that thing in me that I like to reconcile between people, understand always the two sides. And when you're in London, you have this possibility to do it. You have that possibility to let your voice heard, as the singer is saying.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, when you have that dichotomy of heritage, if you like, for want of a better word. I knew a Jewish woman once who was, her family, one of the few Jewish families left in Tunisia, and she said, there was a long history of Jewish residency in Tunisia once upon a time, but you can't argue with the fact that you sort of balance both sides of what is now a long conflict in the Middle East. And yet I wonder whether the conflict is about people, and when you ask for peace, you're talking about children maybe seeing beyond the politics, aren't you, really?
Exactly, because, we can all see that the world is not going to much better places, and
but we all get on with each other. It seems to me
right.
when we talk and we, express ourselves, as the great poet and philosopher Edward Said and Daniel Barenboim had a fantastic relationship with each other, then you think, well, what is this conflict all about, don't you?
Exactly, but that's why the event at the House of Lords next week that I created with the hosting of Lord Eames, that was very much involved with the conflict in Belfast in Northern Ireland. So he understood my vision. So that's why I call it Vision of Hope, because I believe the new generation maybe, will give us, because at the Royal Albert Hall, when I performed last Tuesday, it was so exciting. I wanted to have someone to help me, behind the scene. And it was my girlfriend. She's Lebanese. And from all the people in the world, I didn't choose Israeli. I chose an Arab, beautiful lady to help me. So that it's all about people. But we need to have more power and to spread the good. It's always between the good and the bad.
Who was there at the Royal Albert Hall?
There was Lord Balfour.
Yeah, I was thinking generally, what was the audience?
It was beautiful. It was a community of the Christian people that support Israel. There were Muslims as well, and there were a lot of Israelis and Jewish, and the atmosphere was just magical, love in the air. And yesterday I had my Christian family, because my husband is Christian, that converted to Judaism, and they said that they learned so many things that they didn't know about the Balfour Declaration, and they're very intellectual. So it was really a night to remember, and I was playing there, and it was very exciting.
And there's such a history, a rich history of music within Judaism. Maybe it is part of the pillar stone of Judaism that you have this rich culture, musical culture and everything. The times that I've been to synagogues, I suddenly sort of understand why a lot of the American music hall tradition or movie tradition, musical tradition, have Jewish writers at the heart of it, because you hear that the music of the synagogue is classical and everything else that goes with it,
Yes.
But also poetry, though. It's a time where Remembrance Sunday, we're remembering those who have fallen in the two world wars. In the First World War, you will know, poetry was a real essential part of us understanding that war and understanding what people who were in that war were about. And essentially the message of a lot of the war poetry, Siegfried Sassoon and Wilfred Owen, is peace. At the end of the day, they might be saying what passing bells for those who die as cattle, but really their message is peace, isn't it?
Exactly. That's, at the end of the day, need to be the message. And it's what poetry gives people is to express their emotions, and you can do it in one line sometime. One good line can express so much, and that's what I do. Yesterday, I went to sleep, I think, at 2:00 in the morning, because I'm reading now 500 poems of children with the theme of peace, because I need 500. To choose. I did it all by myself, so I know next year already big organizations are going to be behind me, and I'm very privileged because Katie Milua and Don Black are involved as judges, so we're going to work hard to find.
And when do we find out the results?
or at the House of Lords on the
House of
20th.
Lords on
That's
the
when
20th.
I'm going to announce it.
Is there a website now that we can maybe see some of this
Yes,
poetry?
it's the National School Poetry Competition.
National School Poetry Competition. That website's up there.
Yes,
.com or whatever it is.
Yeah, .com, sorry.
Yeah. Tally, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Tally Koren there. That's it.